liberty and justice for all. And we will have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okey doke. Our first action item is to approve the personnel matters and addendum for August the 11th, 2025 to include appointments, resignations, retirements, volunteers, substitute appointments, substitute reappointments, and sponsor stipends as presented. I will open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. The next agenda item is to approve the release from compulsory attendance for students this school year, 2025-2026, numbers 2 through 21 as presented. And I'll open the floor for that motion.
I make a motion to approve the release from compulsory attendance for the following students, specifically for religious exemptions of 2025 through 2026, numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carries. The next agenda item is our consent agenda for August the 11th, 2025, and that includes operating expenses for fiscal year 25 and 26, August 2025 fiscal year food services expenses, CIP expenses for 2025, expenditures as of July the 31st, 2025. I'll open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda for August 11th, 2025 as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, now we get into recognitions and presentations. Exactly, the fun stuff. So the first recognition is our Senior of the Month. Just to introduce this a little bit, the Senior of the Month program showcases a graduating senior, one from each month during the school year, and recognizes them for academics, extracurricular activities, and their service to others. Each Senior of the Month will be recognized monthly at each school board meeting with a presentation of a certificate from the school board. At the end of the school year, we will once again honor the seniors of the month, and then each senior will in turn recognize the educator that had the greatest influence on their education while in Madison County Public Schools. So I turn it over to our Miss Principal.
Thank you and good evening. You may be wondering how we came up with an August Senior of the Month before school even begins. I'm going to bring up our Senior of the Month and explain how I think she never left campus all summer. Isabella Dietrich, would you please join me? Isabella is a shining example of what it means to be a servant leader in FFA. This summer, she went above and beyond to support Madison FFA and her entire community. From helping maintain the fairgrounds and setting up for the county fair to organizing a summer planning meeting at her home, she took initiative every step of the way. In a true display of grit and dedication, she planted pumpkins on a 100-degree day, never complaining, always focused on the bigger picture and the impact her work would have on others. She constantly encourages students to get involved in FFA and to serve their community, leading by example in everything she does. This year, she also broke a new ground by showing livestock at the fair for the very first time. It marked a turning point for our own Madison FFA, as it has been several years since any members had shown animals or actively even participated in the fair. Thanks to Isabella's leadership and encouragement, several students followed her lead, bringing Madison FFA back into the spotlight and reestablishing its presence at the fair. However, she is not only a dedicated FFA member, but also a young lady grounded in her faith and her family. Isabella is always there for younger members, offering guidance, support, and a helping hand. Her work ethic, positive spirit, and heart for service make her an invaluable part of Madison FFA and MCHS. We are incredibly proud to have her leading the way and being selected as this month's Senior of the Month. Isabella Dietrich. We would also like to give a shout out to her family, for everything that we just read is a tribute to you, and thank you for sending her to us every day so that we can love her as much as you do. Thank you.
Congratulations, Isabella. I got to witness a lot of that work.
Yes, you
Because
did.
I lived in the barn too during the week of the fair. So I did. I witnessed her and I got to call her name because I announced the shows too, and I got to call her name several times. So congratulations and thank you for leading FFA. All right, our next agenda item is the 2025-2026 school board representative. Lisa
Tylee
Jenkins.
Coates, if you could come up front with me, please. Tylee is a senior here at Madison County High School, where she has lived in the county her entire life, and so has her family. She is an active member of the Beta Club and is the lead editor in our high school yearbook. She is very active in sports and generally participates in 2 sports activities each season. She is also our kicker on our football team. I had to add that, she didn't, but super proud of her for that. She is active in the community, participating in Madison Day, Pamper Me Pink, and supporting church activities. She is an active member of her church youth group. Tylee plans to graduate with 9 high school dual enrollment credits and plans to obtain the Uniform Certificate of General Studies through Germanna Community College while here at MCHS. She is planning to attend a 4-year university to pursue an accounting degree with a plan to become a CPA.
Wow.
Our new student representative, Tylee Coates.
Congratulations. Yeah, come on up.
Take your seat. Welcome.
Welcome to the board. Welcome. All right. Our next agenda item is public comment. We welcome public comment during this time. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name and the part of the county that you live in, and you can address the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is this on?
I think so. Just say test, test a couple times.
Test, test.
Yep, you're working.
Good evening. My name is Charlotte Curlin, and I am from Haywood. I am a sophomore here at Madison County High School. Today, I would like to share with you the many benefits of a high school theater program and hopefully convince you to allocate resources towards starting one in our own high school. When I enrolled in Madison in 8th grade, I was excited to join the forensics team, and since then have loved every minute of it. However, entering 9th grade, I was sad to find that the drama class was no longer being offered. I want to help get it back up and running and hope the school board will help support that. Firstly, theater brings the community together. Strong communities are instrumental in a teenager's life. They support young people who are at a point in their lives where their brains are developing the most and need mentors to guide them. Moreover, theater is incredibly educational, not only for teens, but for adults as well. Many plays tell about historical events or have significant cultural value. Next, as I'm sure you are aware, high schoolers are at a point in our lives where it is critical to learn important social skills and emotional regulation. According to the University of Florida, 72 to 75% of the American population has a fear of public speaking. This all begins in high school, and one way schools can address this is by focusing on classes and programs that specifically build these skills. Theater is a wonderful option. To quote BrainBalanceCenters.com, acting is reacting. Reacting requires active listening, eye contact, and knowing how to read people's expressions. One of the very first things you have to learn when becoming a good actor is how to react and respond to other actors' lines. Acting can also help to build emotional regulation and intelligence. By watching and participating in pre-written scenes, actors can observe emotions and how a person or character might react to them. Additionally, contrary to the popular misconception that theater actually hides their true self, it can build their personal character and self-awareness. Third, Madison already has a long history of success in theater. Look around you. The auditorium is filled with flags for teams from years gone by that have brought home award after award. When we even have a wonderful Mini Mountaineers program that has begun to really blossom and thrive. On top of that, we have classes and groups established already that could help with things like music, props, and sound systems. With the band kids, shop class, and forensics team, we could put together every part that's needed to put out a program. The only thing we're missing is the funding and a theater director. That's where I ask for your assistance. If we put effort into building up the theater program in Madison, it could impact the community and its students' current and future lives in ways that nothing else can replicate. Look how joining the forensics team has affected my public speaking. We need theater back in Madison. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I have copies if anyone would like to reread it.
You can give it to the clerk. Yep. Ms. Patterson will take them, and thank you for sharing that. Would anybody else like to address the board?
Good evening. My name is Pastor Russell Biber. I'm from Brightwood, and it's good to be here. And I pray for the school board, all the members, often, and just wanted to let you know that I am still appreciative of all that you do. Hard to believe that we're getting ready to start a new school year in just a few short days. But I would like to have a word of prayer for our new school year. Our Heavenly Father, we do thank you so much for allowing us to come before the throne of grace, to bring our petitions to you. Father, we want you involved in this academic year. We want to see your hand at work. We ask that you would bless the school year. I pray, Father, that you would be with the administrators, give them the wisdom they need, the leadership that they need for this year. We pray for the principals in each school, that they too would have the leadership ability and skills that they need for the new things that they will face this year, the new challenges. We pray for each teacher, each staff member, each bus driver, that you'd give safety, wisdom, discernment. We pray for each student that they would learn the things that they will need to be successful in life. Father, we pray that you would just lead, guide, and help each member, each student to follow. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the board? Okey doke. We will move forward with the board members' comments. Mr. Sheets, do you have anything?
I don't have any response, but I want to thank the young lady for giving her talk. I appreciate that. Thank you. Keep working on those public speaking skills there.
Mr. Martz?
I definitely appreciate your comments. My daughter being one of the ones that likes to do the Mini Mountain Performers and loving it is tremendous. And being here when a lot of these flags went up, I understand completely. And I can't even remember the last time we had a drama director or teacher, but we did at one point have a drama club, and it would start those things up. So part of that would maybe, in hope, maybe start a drama club, find a club sponsor for the year, see how much interest we can get up so that we can have a demand for a class that actually shows that there's a great need. Well, there's a demand for it more so than just a need. And I definitely do appreciate that. Please do.
I just want to second Mr. Martz's statements. I also just kind of want to point out, Ms. Taylor, that like you've like highlighted 3 amazing kids this year, and if this is how we're starting this year with school going back tomorrow, I can only see like where we're gonna go. So like just, I just kind of wanted to shout out at that too, because I none of these things are easy, and you guys are all doing a great job. So pat yourselves on the back and all that jazz.
I don't have anything else to add, but I really appreciate you coming and sharing your story and letting us know. And I agree with Mr. Martz, starting a drama club and getting some folks excited about that, and then get yourself a sponsor here in the high school. I'm sure somebody will say, yeah, I'll do that. And, you know, we'll go from there. Okay? Thanks. And Mr. Viber, thank you for being so faithful. All right, our next agenda item are staff reports, and we are going to hear from Dr. Jones, sorry, Dr. Jones, about some information.
All right, so tonight I'm going to give you all a recap of all the activities that took place this summer to include summer school. And I'll start with the primary school. I'll let you see the numbers and then some other activities. At the primary school this summer, we had 9 kindergartners, 5 first graders, and 10 second graders attend summer school for a total of 24 students. The primary school held Jump Start again, which you probably remember are students who are entering kindergarten. They come and they get become familiar with the school and the faces they'll see, and they get to ride the bus and all those fun things. And we have 43 students in 5 classes for that week, which is great. As was mentioned, Mountaineer Theater held a camp this summer. 30 students participated, and the ages range from first graders to rising 6th graders. And so it was a 10-day camp, and I don't know if any of you were able to come out to see the performance of the Jungle Book, but it was phenomenal. Just knowing that they had pulled that off in 10 days made it that much more incredible, honestly. And so also on the next slide, Mini Mountain Theater took some time to do some community service, and I don't know how they fit all this in with 10 days to prepare for this whole presentation, but they did. And then they appeared in our Madison County Parade and won Best Appearing Organization, so that's pretty cool. Waverly Owl Summer School had 11 students in 3rd grade, 5 4th graders, 13 5th graders, for a total of 28 students. And also, on the next slide this year, we also did Reach It Through Reading. The Ritter van went around and delivered books to 114 Madison families. So that's something we've done, for the last decade, and it continues strong. So that's fantastic. Unikite also continued this summer. Camp Unikite, for those who don't know, is an opportunity. Students are bused to Graves Mountain, and they have opportunities to explore through nature. They're placed on teams, and they do team building and collaborative, cooperative activities with group challenges. They eat a family-style lunch each day, at which time they are working on social skills. And this summer, Camp Unikite partnered with summer school. The middle schoolers that attended summer school were able to go to Unikite on their final week, which was fantastic. And they had a day of hiking at White Oak Trail. And so the next slide shows the numbers. Elementary school had 78 students, and the middle school had 27 students participate, for a total of 105 students participating in Camp Unikite this summer. Wetzel Middle School had nine sixth graders, 11 seventh and 11 eighth graders attend, for a total of 31 students for their summer school program. And summer school is heavily focused on reading and math intervention. And then the middle school this summer also did a sixth grade transition camp. This is several years they've done this. They had 35 rising sixth graders attend, and at the end they give them a survey, and not surprisingly, 100% of the students who attended reported they felt more comfortable with transitioning to middle school as a result of attending camp, and probably their biggest fear of getting that locker open was overcome because they had extra time to practice. So we hope to see that number rise each summer as well. At the high school, you can see a variety of courses were completed. A total of 100 students completed coursework through the high school through online courses. And then just one other thing, I wanted just to remind you that July 29th, 30th, and 31st, 14 teachers attended our new teacher orientation. And I see Ms. Adams here. I want to give a super duper shout out to her because she really had a huge hand in all of the planning for the new teacher orientation. The topics that were covered were all about Madison County Public Schools. The Sheriff's Department partnered with us and went over all of our safety protocols, particularly Alice, among others, with our new teachers. They met their mentors. Each new teacher has a mentor for the year. Ms. Adams does a phenomenal job of talking with them about classroom management, just really practical tips. And they got to spend a lot of time with the technology that you need to know to be successful in the classroom as a solid teacher in Madison County Public Schools. And we are so excited to have these 14 new teachers and looking forward to a fantastic school year. And the summer was busy, but we got it done. So thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you guys have any questions?
I know that at least one middle schooler was very appreciative of learning how to get a locker open and finding classrooms. I cannot tell you how grateful so many parents were, and even the ones that I saw when I was dropping my kid off were even saying that they were so excited to be doing that. So it was a tremendous, tremendous piece.
Okay. We will, oh, go ahead. Yep.
I know that our yearly attendance has been kind of decreasing over the past years. Summer school attendance, is it decreasing at the same rate, or are we hanging out the same? Are we doing better?
Yeah, I certainly could go back and look. I would say it's about the same as it has been. That's one of the reasons the middle school partnered in with Unikite. They thought that would really incentivize those students to attend, knowing that last week they'd be able to go and have that experience. And I think it worked because they had a total of 31, which I think may be a little higher, but I'll have to look.
Well, so summer school's for students that are going to fail. And so they're going to summer school to get what they need to, so they make it to the next grade the
They
following
need
year.
extra support. It could
So-
be based on SOL scores, teacher recommendation.
Yes. Way I'm thinking of this is I don't know that it's something to brag about. I don't want to brag about having more children in summer school because it's counterproductive. So I would think that at least if let's say we're dropping year over year in attendance by 10%, that we would like to see summer school attendance dropping year over year by 10% or less or more. That would be my hope. That means we're educating students through the regular school year and they're ready for the next grade and not have to go through summer school for it. But the Unikite stuff, I'm I think that's great. I think that's fantastic stuff.
And building on the Mini Mountaineer Theater, giving families more opportunities for the extracurricular activities in the summer is good. And the high school students, some of them were probably getting ahead with some of their classes. They weren't necessarily repeating classes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's important to make sure that we're aware of that. So, well, I've mentioned this before, so I know I'm beating a dead horse, but.
If you're interested, I did just pull up the slideshow from last year, and the numbers are lower this year than they were last year. Except, I think the middle school's the same, and the high school, there's more completed courses over the summer this year, but Waverly had fewer students, and the primary school had fewer students.
And it's tough in the summer because there's a lot of competition for vacations and other events and activities and family choice. So we're happy with the students we get in and get that opportunity to work with.
Anybody else? Okey doke. Our next agenda item is our facilities report. Dr. Timmons, welcome.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. First of all, I want to start by thanking Ms. Graham, Dr. Jones, Ms. Kropp, and the rest of the staff at MCPS for the support of the Facilities Department and what we do, as well as this board and the Board of Supervisors. I want to start by talking a little bit about our maintenance staff. We have Billy Armstrong, Don Ellswick, and our newest member is Brandon Oots, who is taking the place of Pete Benson, who retired this year. And we've been fortunate for the second year in a row to have some summer help with Mr. Kane Mitchell, who was graduated this year, and Kane will be working with us through the end of September, and then he's moving on to some other things. So again, thank you all. We're going to start on the next slide with a couple of definitions about facility management. Not that we don't know what it is, but I'd like to take just a minute for you to look at that first definition, and that's from the International Facilities Management Association. So our core business as a school system is to educate students, and without good facilities and a great learning environment, it makes it harder to learn. It's going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and as a former principal, we definitely understand that the facilities are very important in a child's education. So we try to do our best to make sure that the kids and the teachers and the rest of the staff have suitable facilities with the resources, the funding, and staff that we have. So I want to give a shout out to everybody, and thank you for your support of that. Tonight's presentation is just going to kind of go briefly through some of the things that our staff does throughout the year, and by no means does it cover everything. There wouldn't be enough slides what these guys do in a year's time. So they do grounds work, and you see some pictures there at the top of the screen where in the fall we're getting up leaves, and that's a team effort. At the bottom corner you see an excavator, and we had some help from county staff. Those guys work well with us. Mooney and I just lost his name, his employee, Kirk. They helped us with putting in a new drain that comes from the roof and then goes outside and drains over the side of the bank there at school board office. The bottom other picture you see is it's to represent our snow plowing that we do, and that's a new plow that we were able to get this year, and we're very grateful for that. That's been a huge help. The guys also do painting, and that's one of the areas there at the back of the loading dock they spruced up for graduation.
Looks good.
They try to do some touch-up painting when they can in between work orders, but we felt like that made a difference as people drove up for graduation. Sometimes it can be the little things that we can do that makes the difference. Some of the not so pleasant, sometimes water and sewer issues that we deal with. You see some sewer pumps that we often have to deal with, and then we have to call in some outside folks to help us do some cameras on the drains and some unclogging and repairs, but the guys do a fair amount of water and sewer work, plumbing, etc. Next slide, they do a lot of carpentry. You see Don Ellswick there, he's hamming for the camera, and that's Billy. They were actually over at the middle school and put in a window, if you will, in the wall. There's no glass in it to help for better supervision in the family consumer science area over at the middle school. The second picture, we reclaimed some space at the school board office and made one office into two. So the guys built that wall, did a nice job of that. That's not quite the finished look, but it's finished now. One of the things I really want to highlight is the press box. If you remember the CIP group especially, the way the press box was originally done, the roofing wasn't exactly what it should have been, which caused leaks and some boards to rot. And if you remember, we got several quotes, and one of the quotes we got was around $25,000 to repair it. These guys jumped in. Of course, it pulled them off of other things, but they jumped in and they saved quite a bit of money, and they were able to actually do the construction part of it between work orders and save the division quite a bit of money. And then Cowan Roofing came in to do the final product there. You see the rubberized roofing. And we've actually, on that rubberized roof, we've put another layer of like a mat, a stall mat, if you will, to help protect that, because there's so much traffic up there in football season where the guys are walking around and doing their spotting. We wanted to make it last as long as we can, so we've added an extra layer of protection. MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, we do a fair amount of that. You see the electrical box representing some of the electrical work we do. The next picture is Billy replacing, it's a HVAC pump motor in the boiler room over at the high school. Don is running a new ductwork, piece of ductwork there in the high school. And then our former employee, Pete Benson's actually inside of one of the units on top of the building where we had to take out a fan motor and replace that. Again, more MEP. This is some of the work that was done over at the primary school, replacing some of the equipment, pieces of the equipment of the LG HVAC units on the rooftop there. Some of the projects, we were able to put in a new oil tank down at the field house. The one that was there was underground, and over time, the top had been hit by cars and run over, and so it was no longer really any good. It was buried, and so we've sealed that, taken care of what we need to do there, and we put in a new tank. The picture up at the top beside that, you'll see around the track we had all the trees taken out, because if you remember, the track, the roots from the trees were causing some of the track to bubble, so we've taken those trees out and had those done. One of the other projects was CIP funded. We took care of several doors at the high school that were aging out and not closing well, so that was a good security thing that we needed to take care of in several places. The next picture you see is the generator behind the middle school. That is a result of the grant that the county received, which will make the middle school the place for natural disasters. So that actually powers most of the school and some HVAC units, which we didn't have in the past. If it needs to be used for any type of natural disaster, that would be the shelter. And again, that was all grant funded, that the county got a grant for that. And then there at the bottom, I did the slideshow before. I've got some more pictures now, but the large major CIP project is a replacement of the outdoor air handler units on top of Waverly Elementary School. I know the board members are familiar with that. That project is well underway, and 3 out of the 4 units have been sat on top of the building, with the 4th one to come. I think we're hoping the end of the month, 1st of September, and that project should close out, we hope, late November, early December, which will be great. And we appreciate the principal and staff working around that so far with us, and we're going to make sure it doesn't interrupt the learning for the children as well. If you remember, a few years back, we got a new work order system, and I told you we would get some better numbers, and we're starting to get some better numbers, and we're doing some better logging. So you'll see what it started out in 22-23 with 505, last year 644. The year before last, and then this past year, 636 work orders. And not included are those things that just happen: mowing, snow removal, emergency calls, HVAC filter changes, The guys getting stopped by the random teacher or principal saying, hey, can you come look at this? And we don't capture all of those things, but it kind of gives you a good picture of the work orders that we get done. And then the next slide, I'm able to do a little bit more pulling out of what the work orders look like. And so you can see there the categories of how many work orders in each category. HVAC stands out at 113, and then plumbing at 112. And then miscellaneous is 189. That could be, could you go to the store and get us some bee spray, or it's just other little miscellaneous categories. So that's full of a lot of things. But that also is a good tool to help us guide our capital improvement plan as we look at where the majority of our work orders are coming from. And you'll see also the buildings that they come from, how many each building produced. And I appreciate your time and certainly be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Sheets, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I'm in the field of the stuff that they do. I know what it's like. Sometimes you're the unsung hero. People see everything that's done. They don't know how it gets done. It just magically gets taken care of by Dr. Timmons and his team. And I want to commend you and your guys for getting the stuff knocked out. And it's not always easy stuff. Just looking at that roof on the press box need to be replaced, all that rotted wood. I mean, that's a headache. It's just
It was
it's
a
a
headache.
mess. And they took care of it. So it's nice when you can call in the big guns for chillers and stuff like that, but the small stuff, just because the big people aren't here, doesn't mean it's any more easy. It's still a pain in the butt. So I appreciate all y'all do. I know it.
With that one, when I went to the superintendent, Anna said, you want to buy these harnesses and you guys are going to do what? And so she was very supportive of it, but the guys did a great job.
Yeah, thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Mine's more of an observation, added in with a question. Looking at the work orders per building, and noticing that Madison Primary, recently renovated, had the least, Waverly Al, most recently renovated after that, has second least. It would appear that MCHS carries the brunt of the weight as far as work orders go.
Yes,
How
sir.
many, compared to a year ago, or even 2 years, how many more or less do we seem to be having with the high school?
I can't give you that because it was an older work
The older
order
system.
system and not kind of when I had started accounting for things. I can go back and look the best I can and give you something, but I'm not sure, I can't tell you that how accurate it's going to be.
Okay. Just kind of curious, knowing that some things probably need to get done eventually, overhaul piece, just because it's quite the, from 227 to 138 to 115, that says there's some issues, and kind of worries me about how many more might pop.
Yes, sir. You're not incorrect.
Thank you very much, Dr. Timmons.
Yes, sir.
I don't have anything to add. I kind of noticed the same thing I was going to ask, but Greg always beats me. But I just do want to say, like, thank you to you and your team, because I know how hard you guys are working. And I think that the biggest thing, my favorite picture in all this, is the painting of the stairs, because it's such a, like, tiny thing, but like, doesn't that look amazing? Like, I mean, it does. It makes such a huge difference. And like, and as, it was meant to be that way, I guess, kind of too. And so just, yeah, like if we could all have like that level of pride of like being able to see everything that you do, it would be great. But like, yeah, you guys are doing a great job and we really appreciate you all.
Again, I give the support to the staff and the guys. And I will say what you said, that noticing that, but we walk around and we still notice that, there are weeds and there are things with the extra rain that we got this year that we still need to get some attention to. So we do know those things are there, and you guys are working hard to take care of that.
I don't think any of us can keep up with the weeds this year. Like, that's how I'm living my
No,
life
I've
anyways.
been
And the mowing.
I've been approached for a new zero turn for my crew, so, yeah, we understand.
Go ahead and get
The
it for
answer's still no. Not yet.
Again, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, our favorite agenda topic, the budget. Ms. Crap, we love you. But, the budget.
Well, we wanted to give you all an update on the 25 budget year that we're closing, and then we'll talk a little bit about 26. Just to remind you, the 25 budget was based on 1,625, an ADM of 1,625, and that amount was right at 25 million. School started, we knew within the first few weeks last year that ADM was going to be way down. We had used ESSER money to fill in the prior years, so we didn't reduce our ADM last year. We were down, the final ADM, we were down 90 kids. So that hurt us pretty much in the budget. That was a shortfall of about $400,000, so we had to watch our spending. Our FY26 budget is set at 1,520. I don't know if we'll make that or not. We're going to see. We are a little nervous about that, but it is what it is, and we'll deal with it. We supplemented the original budget with All in Virginia and the end of the ESSER, so that helped us with FY25 budget. That helped us get through with that shortfall. We still don't have a final number for FY25. We're still getting in revenue this month and booking it back to FY25. We have, we always try to have at least 200,000 carryover. I'm not sure what the carryover is going to be this year. It could be a little bit more. We were short on revenue, but we also had to hold back because we didn't know how short we were going to be. So our carryover might be up a little bit over the 200. We had funds left in textbooks. Last year was not an adoption year, but this year is. We were not able to hire a psychologist, and our diesel, gas, and fuel did not hit outrageous. So we were okay on that. So we had some funds left in those categories. We are going to be able to carry over textbook funding of roughly $175,000, and then All in Virginia funding of about $63,000 that we can still use this year. This is the last year for that, so you'll be seeing supplemental appropriations come for that to carry that over in FY26. We will do another update next month on the FY26 budget once we have ADM numbers. We're watching enrollment right now at each grade level. We have, for K through 5, we have about 19 to 24 students in each class. I think that's a little bit higher than our norm, but we are working with the funds that we have. We've reduced some teachers where we did in some grade levels have 6, now we have 5. So that pushes the numbers up a little bit. Do you want to talk about anything else?
We're kind of thinking that All in Virginia money, the 63,000, we could use that to maybe help get 2 aides if needed. But again, as soon as tomorrow starts, we do what's called a 10-day count, where we do not watch Power School. We count bodies, not who's enrolled, but who shows up. So that will give us our actual numbers in each grade level and in each class, so we can see where the needs are. But to make our numbers where we would want our numbers and where our teachers would definitely prefer to have our numbers, K-5, we need $450,000 at least.
So that's a tough question that we will discuss and tackle again in a few months for the 26-27 budget. But any questions, anything I can answer? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Ms. Crowe.
All right, we have one business information item, and I can't remember who brought this up. I think it was Mr. Sheens or Mr. Wingate? It was you?
I think it was Mr. Sheens.
Board member salaries. So this is the information you guys found.
Yes, so we dug into that. Ms. Kropp actually found the law for that. And this current board, we learned, is a little too late. The decision would have had to have been made by July 1st of this year. So this can come up again, and that's why we went ahead and put it as business information, so future boards will have this. It's in here now. So for the beginning January 1st, 2027 until July 1st, 2027, that board, because that'll be the year 2 more members are up again for reelection, that'll be the year that the board could decide and vote to increase board member pay. So that'll be the dates to watch, and if that's something that board is interested in.
Yeah, I brought this up with the intent of it being after I'm off the school board. I figured it would probably not actually happen until January of probably 2027 before it would actually go into place. But given that, there is no law that says a school board member has to accept the pay. They can obviously refuse it, and Mrs. Kropp can work through that paperwork. But it's just to kind of get closer to the times. So I explained at last school board meeting the reason that I was asking for that increase. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions?
No questions. I see this.
All right. Our next agenda item is the Wetzel Middle School field trip. It's an overnight field trip.
And this is Kim Adams has a presentation for that.
Okay, welcome, Kim.
Am I tall enough for this? So this is a multi-day program with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and I've taken 2 of these trips with Wetzel Middle School students in the past. We went in 2018 and in 2019. We had a smaller trip planned for 2020, but we all know what happened. And we haven't been able to get the funds to bring this back until this year. So I was going to give you a little bit of information about what this program entails. Next. All right, so our theme is Mountains to the Bay. So we look at agriculture moving to aquaculture. So we talk about farming the land, and we do our 6th grade watershed unit. It's all about what we're doing at the headwaters and how to protect our headwaters. And then when we get to the bay, we look at the result of what travels all the way down the stream and into the bay. And then we learn about the waterman way of life and how they farm the water the way we farm the land. So it's a really interesting comparison that students get. Before leaving the mainland, students need to participate in a course with me where we prep to go to the bay, because there's a little bit of things you have to do to plan ahead of time. I've talked with Ms. Wilson. This would take place during wind time on Fridays, so that way they're not taking after-school activity time, and they're not losing any remediation time or class time for that preparation. What we do is we plan for the trip. There's a lot that's involved. The students that go, they have to plan their meals. So they get into groups of 5. Each group plans a meal. They have a budget that they have to look at. They make a grocery list based on Walmart or Food Lion, wherever they decide they want to shop. And they have to plan so that we don't have any waste. So it's all about looking at not only what you want to make, but portion sizes and how much are people going to eat and not overcooking. And then when we get there, they take it a step further and they look at how far the food has traveled to get to Tylerton, Smith Island. Getting to Smith Island, we will be going from Smith Point Marina in Reedville, Virginia. So we'll take the activity buses to Smith Point, and then we catch a boat that takes us across the bay to Tylerton. Day 1, first thing off the boat, safety. It's the first thing they do. They sit down, they learn all about being safe while you're there on the island. During that safety meeting, they pass around a basket and they ask students to give up all their technology. Because while you're there, you're on island time. If you're hungry, you eat. If you're tired, you sleep. If you want to go out and play, you go out and play. You don't play on, they have tons of books, they have tons of board games. They have a whole shed of outdoor equipment so that they can play outdoors. So, and that's called green time. We usually set crab pots in the evening, and they have dinner, and then possibly a night hike depending on weather. Next. The accommodations, there's 2 houses. We have separated by a small street. We put boys in one house and girls in the other house. The Bay House has bunk beds, 2 bathrooms, and the kitchen and dining. The Mullins House has a sitting room with 2 bathrooms. They wake up when the sun wakes them up. They'll cook and do breakfast. They do some field investigations, scraping the wetlands, collecting crab pots, seeing what they can catch. They dredge for oysters. There's a lot when you scrape those bay grasses that you can see, and lots of little organisms. And I'll show in a little bit one of the things they do. Go ahead. When you come off the boat, we come back, we do some lunch, and then during lunch, there's some green time, which is activities, and then either water chemistry or canoeing. I'll say I've been on at least no less than 5 trips, maybe 6. I've only been canoeing one time, because canoeing is very specific out there. They have to have there's a certain equation they use between air and water temperature that has to be just right before they will put kids in a canoe on the water. So it's nice to know that they are so diligent about being safe. All right, next. Journaling, campfire, s'mores. They have a fire pit in the back where you can do s'mores. And journaling is something that I do with every trip with students. I think it's important for them to track what they're doing in species. And I have an example of one of their journals a little bit later. Next. We try to get up at least one morning for sunrise and go sit on the dock and watch the sunrise. They're usually pretty groggy when we drag them down there that early in the morning, but they all rave about it afterwards. And then probably one of the highlights of the trip is the marsh walking. So the marsh is a giant mud pit. And the Bay educators are great. They get out there and they play games with them. And playing those games and navigating through the marsh, they learn about all the benefits of the marshland and why they're important and why we need to make sure we protect them with the barriers. And then we come back and there's no showering while you're there. But they do have a bay shower that allows them to rinse off, because we want to learn about conservation while we're there. So either hose off or bay shower, and then we clean up and pack and get ready to head home. I've secured a grant from the license plate fund, and it covers about 75% of the fees to go out to Smith Island. 25%, we had some funds left over from 2020 when we weren't able to take that trip. So essentially it comes down to, it's about $40 per student, and that covers groceries and a t-shirt, because everybody wants a t-shirt when you go on a fun trip. Next. After the trip is over, one of the things that's required through the grant, and is almost essential when you do a trip like this, is an action project. So students will have to do an action project, and again, we will be meeting during that wind time, and they have options. They can do whatever they feel led to, and I will help guide them in that. Some options may be, they might create a website, they might make a video. There's a newspaper article there done from the 2018 group. The Rain Garden at Wetzel, that was the 2019 group that we took. That was a big undertaking. It was actually even bigger than my group could handle. So we actually reached out to a local Boy Scout troop, and it became a community event where the Boy Scout troop came out, and we had Culpeper Soil and Water, and then Air Bay educators, and they spent an entire morning just redoing and planting that rain garden. It's a great quote. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not, by Dr. Seuss. I love that. All right, next. So this, educationally, environmental literacy. It's really important for our students to be environmentally literate. And next, so Bay basics, location, water quality, and depth. A lot of people don't realize how shallow the Bay is, and that it really is overall. The temperature, dissolved oxygen, salinity. There's a lot of brackish water in that area. And what are the benefits? Next, ecology, food webs, migration, species, invasive species. We spend a lot of time talking about invasive species and why it's important to have native species around. One of the coolest things of learning the Waterman way of life, how they live off the bay. School, there's no school on the island. So school children there, they catch a boat and they go to the mainland for school and then they come back. There's very few cars, mostly golf carts. We walk around the island and the kids, one of the activities is to make a map. So they walk and they draw their map as they're walking through the island, which is really cool. That's a picture right there, some kids walking and exploring the island. Next. Here's an example of one of the species logs done by a student years ago. So you can see the list, and there was a third page. That was just part of the list they created just from a couple days on the island. Next. It's completely active learning. They are immersed in the new environment, and they are just all hands-on in learning. You can see on the boat, that was right after scraping the grasses. We have some students learning how to hold crabs and not get pinched, exploring the marsh, and then setting and collecting crab pots. A lot of life skills happen, decision-making, problem-solving, creative thinking, communicating, relationships, self-awareness, and assertiveness. So, you ready to leave the mainland?
Anybody have any questions?
Nope, you first, I want to beat you to it.
How many kids are you gonna be able to take with you this year?
So we have, there's 30 spots, and so we're planning on either 25 to 26 kids and 4 to 5 adults.
Okay. That was it.
Oh, I had the privilege of talking to Ms. Adams at Back to School Night, and as excited as I was to see this as well, before we vote or say yes or approve, I think that it should be mandatory if they go, they come back and teach us what they learned. Like, I would love to see the kids come back and present and get their feedback immediately from this. That's, because I think it's a phenomenal thing to do.
Absolutely.
I agree. I concur.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. All right, we have to vote on this.
I make a motion to approve
I
as presented.
second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Have a great time. I kind of want to go. All right. Our next agenda item is VSBA policy updates. There's just 3 here.
It was a late ad for the VSBA. The DJF was just updated, the actual numbers, the legal references. JFC for the Student Code of Conduct, under bullying, they added cyberbullying in the definition. And then the KBA, request for public records, they added a section on if you receive a FOIA request, you shall not destroy the records that people are requesting, or you will be fined. So that's everything in a nutshell for those 3.
Okay. We do.
Motion to approve the changes to the regulations as listed.
We have a motion. We need a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would like to bring up, as far as the FOIA requests, that we also gather that information as soon as possible, that we don't waste any time or try to wait on anything. If we get it as soon as we can and get it to the people that are requesting it.
I think we have a pretty fast turnaround rate.
Very good.
They usually go through Ms. Patterson, and then most of them tend to be financial, so they go to Ms. Crop. But anything else, we get it back to the person as soon as possible. And unless it's something where they're requesting a whole lot of documents, and we have to let them know that, this is going to take us more than 5 days. But usually, it's just a matter of a couple of days. It doesn't really take us
Very good.
5.
Thank you both. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Did we vote on that? Yeah, we need to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. I got lost in the process there. It's okay, you're fine. All right, our next agenda item is the superintendent's designee, which is Dr. Jones? Yes?
That's correct.
Yes.
So that is the motion. If you guys, I'll open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve Dr. Jones as the designee?
We have a motion. We need a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any noes? Motion is approved. Okay. We are down to reports of school board members or anything to share.
Nothing really school-related, I guess. Thank you so much, Dr. Timmons, for all their work in handling the CIP and all the maintenance stuff and bringing that to our attention. I do have one personal thing that I'd like to bring up, and that is that my son graduated last year, homeschool graduated. He's been working with my brother-in-law for a little over a year now doing septic work, and he has decided to join the Navy. So he will be heading to Groton, Connecticut for a submarine electronics position first week of September. And I just hope he likes the water.
Congratulations.
Yep, thank y'all.
That's awesome.
Just glad, proud of him.
Yep. I have one thing. I attended the back-to-school night at the primary school, and it was awesome. The energy was great. Lots of happy people, excited to be back at school, little people and big people. It was awesome. So I'm excited for tomorrow. I will be at the primary school in the morning, dropping my little one off and hanging out for a little bit. And yeah, we're going to have a great year. So it's exciting. That's all I have. Oh, and the fair was fabulous. I couldn't not say something about the fair, but the fair was fabulous. So always good times at that barn. And mine graduated this year, so it's bittersweet. But I'll be back next year doing something. Go ahead.
I had the privilege of going to 2 of the back-to-school nights, and even though I drove past all of the other ones, I'm grateful that Madison County residents are so creative in their parking endeavors to make sure they have an opportunity to go visit their schools, their teachers' children, their school. The teachers are so important because they are so welcoming. I gotta say, the elementary school and the middle school both were extremely welcoming and very warm. And the environments that they were able to provide for our kids are so worthwhile. And even though we tend to do a lot more with less in a lot of situations, it is very comforting to know that when I go to my school, that my kids are well taken care of here with the people that are in place and the persons that are in charge of them. And for our administrative staff, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you and the job you do. And for our central office as well, for trying to make sure we are filling classrooms with the right people for our children in this community. And as a parent and as a school board member, I'm blessed that my kids get to go to this wonderful small town community and be a part of it. And it's awesome to see how many people, again, showed up to back to school nights and took part, because it was packed from the day I left my building to the time I left the buildings here. It was packed everywhere I drove through. Madison cares about their kids. Madison cares about our schools. Madison cares about our community, and it shows in droves. Thank you, guys.
That's why I go to back to school night really early. And so I was the one that walked in and they're like, we're not ready for you yet. I'm like, I know, it's fine. Yeah, back to school night was great at the middle school. That's the only school I stopped by just because that's where my kid is. But going to the back to school luncheon last week was really awesome. I do thank you guys for inviting us there. It's always so rewarding to see the energy levels the kids, well, of the teachers to get ready for these kids coming back to school. I have one at home that is so excited for tomorrow, like he cannot wait. I was talking to another student today that was like more apprehensive, and I don't want to go back to school, but I happened to be in the middle school at the time, and like those teachers just completely pumped him up, and he's ready to roll, and he's going to go do great things. Like I said, with the kids that were here tonight, I think we're just in for a really phenomenal year. Just everybody be safe tomorrow, and I can't wait to see what this year brings ultimately, and thank you all for letting me be a part of it.
Do you have anything to say from the high school?
Yeah.
We just welcome you, and you can share anything. Not to put you on the spot, but.
I've been at Madison County my whole life, and it's just a great opportunity. Like, I've been through the school system my whole life, and there's just so many great teachers and like leaders in the school that I've been grateful to have and to mentor me, and it's just amazing. And it's sad to like leave the next year. I know. But it's just, Madison has been amazing, and I don't know what I would do without it. And thank you for everything that you guys have done, because it's been amazing my whole life.
That's awesome. Yep. I've been here my whole life too. So. I'm just a little bit older than you. Miss Graham?
I hate to follow that. We're glad you're on the board, very much so. The back-to-school luncheon, as was mentioned by Ms. Wood, was a success. We choose not to have like a convocation speaker. Instead, we have a meal together and celebrate the successes we had during the last school year. And I'm not going to spoil all that because you have school plans coming up. The primary school and Waverly are going to present next month for September, and then October you'll hear from the middle school and the high school. They'll be sharing their data, but there were so many things to celebrate this year for improvements that we're seeing. Not exactly where we want to be yet, but improvements in so many areas. Momentum's up, and we're very excited about that. I wanted to remind you about the Hall of Fame. Our first inaugural class is going to happen on September 5th and 6th, the 5th Friday night football game. We're going to have a tent set up for our inductees and announce them during halftime, big celebration. And then there'll be a dinner at 5 o'clock on that Saturday. So we invite everyone to come. Each inductee will be presented one by one. People will be speaking about them. So it'll be a really nice formal event and a delicious meal to be had. And I did also want to mention from the grant we received last October, but they finally gave us the money in like February or March for the Screenagers showings. There's actually enough money. Those were shown in the summer, but there's enough money to do one more showing, and that's going to be on Tuesday, August 26th at 5:30 p.m. So we're getting the word out to the community and to parents. The one that the team that's working on that chose was the youth mental health in the digital age. They said they felt like that was the most powerful one for the parents that came, so that'll be the one that they're showing. They were at the fair on Saturday. They had a table set up. They were providing families with information. They have books for like parents on how to help your teen, you know, if you're dealing with a cell phone addiction or just need some ideas and things. And they were providing ideas for activities you could do as a family. So there's a good conversation that happens after that film. So hopefully we'll get some more parents to come. But that's all I have. We're ready for tomorrow.
Yay. Anybody have anything else?
I didn't mention my son's name. It's Caleb. That's all I got.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.